all the love to overflow as this Scorpio welcomes back a legend of a human being. First name Jacques, last name Rougeau. Welcome, my friend.
Wow, Avi, Jesus. Man, I just gotta say, I hope one day you're my ventriloquist. I'll just move my lips and you talk. It's an amazing intro. Thank you so much. And what a privilege for me to be a judge again tonight. And I just can't wait to meet the 3 contestants tonight, because the last time I had such a great time learning about the people that were my idols when I was young, and now I learned to know who they are. It's just an amazing show, Abby. Thank you for having me.
So, last name Wilson, first name Bryse Wilson. Welcome to the Celebrity Tournament, my friend.
Thank you, Avi. Wow, that was an incredible introduction. Definitely something I might have to get from you and play for myself before every outing. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Are you here to win the whole thing, my friend?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'd never enter a competition without trying to win.
I love it. A lot of love here for Bryse Wilson, guys and gals and pals. First name Bryant, last name McKinnie. Welcome, my friend, to the Celebrity Tournament.
Who is writing your rhymes for you?
That would be me.
You're doing a great job. Thank you for the intro.
Thank you, my friend. Well, you deserve every bit of it, man.
Some of the information, I'm like, dang, how do you know that?
Man, it's BMAC WGA Olympians. Are you here to win the entire thing?
Of course I am. Anything else to be uncivilized.
I love that. I like that. So put your hands together for a kind, intelligent, warm-hearted human being, a genuine one as well. Last name James, first name Mickie. Mickie, welcome to the Celebrity Tournament, my friend.
Of my face, even when I came on, I'm just like in awe. I can't. You're amazing. Thank you so much. I was watching the intro earlier and I'm like, what am I doing on this show? I do not belong here.
Yes, you do.
I really do not. And then your intro, I feel like I belong now. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Intro. Are you here to win the entire thing, my friend?
You had me at Greece, baby. I told you, I've never been. I've always wanted to go in all of my travels. Yeah. I didn't come to lose, that's for sure. So
I love that. We'll start with Miss Mickie James. Please describe a moment or time in your life in which you took a stand for something that means a great deal to you.
Being abused as a child, and I think that was a very integral part of my life, and it was a defining part of my early life at 16 when I had to literally be on the stand and tell my story. It was a very, very hard thing. And so, and I think that at that time, I mean, I get still emotional and it's still painful, like when you talk about it or when you think about it. And I'm sorry to get so heavy, but I think that I didn't make that stand because I was strong by any means, or that I felt like, oh, by doing this. But I think that it was a life-changing moment because I was no longer allowing myself to be a victim. I really think that children, even nowadays, it's even harder, because of social media and all of these other platforms, because they're terrified of how they might be seen in society, or what people will say and what people will do, or from that time, and having the courage and then having to heal from all of that. And then it wasn't even until my 30s that I was comfortable to even say that out loud, like to be able to say that I was a victim, or to even talk about it in a public forum. It took a long, long time. People don't talk about it, a lot. And, to be able to even stand up and say that and say, I was one of those victims, and I know how I felt in those shoes, and to come so far and to be able to stand up on a stage or stand up in the ring and be able to do this on the other side of it means that you can too. Your now is not always your reality for forever and your future. So.
All right. So for me, a situation where I feel like I took a stand is going back to mental health awareness, and that being on, which got added later on because of the impact they had on my life. And once I retired, I realized there's a lot of people who go through a depression period of not knowing how to identify themselves when they're making that transition of being an athlete. And, once I retired, I was blessed enough to play for 12 years. But when I retired, I had friends that were going through different situations. I would hear a lot of talk about mental health. I never dealt with it, head on until 2 former players who, were friends of mine, and they were having bouts with it. And I actually went down. One had got Baker Act, and I had to go down to the psych ward with him. never knew that you were going through anything. But those are the people who you have to worry about the most, the ones who can get dressed every day, put on a smile on their face, and they're going outside and act like everything's okay when it's not. So I feel like it's very important and very informative to get the message out to people and let them know that, one, you're not alone, and two, it's okay to speak to people.
Yes. So for me, I'm right there along the lines of Bryant and the mental health awareness, and I think personally this hits home for me because I struggled with it personally throughout the early stages of my career. And I remember, there was a lot of times where I would just, come home from the field and I would sit there and think about the fact that, like, I'm living a lot of kids' dreams right now. But personally, I would feel like almost like worthless. Like, I watched my brother struggle a little bit, through college because of all the injuries he had. And just, he helped me out a lot just because, and he's my younger brother. So it's funny how that works. He helped me out a lot just because he would wake up every day, he'd have these injuries, and he would wake up and he would keep going. Just to see him do that really helped me a lot. I just felt like it took a long time for me to actually like really talk to somebody. And once I did, things started getting better. And even if you don't want to hear anything back, just getting it off your chest really helps. And that's been a big part of my life and something that I really like to help and do as much as I can to help other people get through as well.
Who do you vote for, my friend?
Oh my God. Now that becomes a serious problem. Because all of you three touched me so much. So I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to go with Bryce for this one. But if you're as good as the for the next questions, I'll have one of each.
So we're going to start with Bryse Wilson. Bryce, if you can please share some lyrics to a song that you feel could help someone that's struggling. Why do you feel as if that particular lyrics chosen are helpful to a mending soul or a broken heart?
The song that I'm going to pull lyrics from is Something to Be Proud Of by Montgomery Gentry. And for me, I guess it follows a son that's conversating with his dad. And essentially the son is so worried in life about living up to his father's expectations. The dad essentially tells the son that, you don't have to make $1 million. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to do all these great things. You just need to be grateful for what you have. Being able to put food on the table, being able to work a job. I think being content with where you are is something to be proud of, and just being happy in the moment that you're at in this moment in time. And in sports, I feel like there's always more. You can always be better. You can always succeed more. And just being able to sit back and just be proud of where you are really helps me kind of just understand where I'm at, and that, what I've done in my life thus far is something to be proud of.
There's this one song, and I had to think about this because I go like, God, I love music so much, and there's so many songs like this for me. But there's a song called "I'm Gonna Be Somebody" by Travis Tritt. It came out in like 1990, and it talks about this. I'm gonna be somebody someday. One of these days, I'm gonna break these chains. He's singing, and in the front row, there's this little boy. That was him. He's like looking almost like in himself in the mirror. Like, look, that's singing every word back to him to the song that I'm going to be then. And I remember driving in my car, and anytime even today, to this day, and this song is so old now, obviously, but it still moves me to the point where it can bring tears to my eyes because I remember this song in my travels along the road of success and then unsuccess and then success again, that I'm going to be somebody someday. And I think that's something that I always said to myself then. And so it was like a power ballad for me.
Bryant McKinnie, if you could please share some lyrics to a song that you feel could help someone that's struggling. And why do you feel as if that particular lyric or lyrics chosen are helpful to a mending soul or a broken heart?
Oh! Yes.
I feel like when I hear the song, regardless of where I'm at, it always puts me on the beach. It's just like I'm almost escaping mentally from where I'm at presently. Just hearing the song, could be anywhere. And it puts me somewhere that's calm, that's peaceful whenever I hear it. And I feel like that can help a lot of people. And I feel like that has the same effect on many others. Just hearing that song, I feel like puts a good vibe and energy in a lot of people. So that's why I chose that song and those lyrics.
It's just, yeah, this is amazing. This is the last time I'm going to be a judge. I'm telling you right now, Avi. Even now, I've accomplished many things, but not satisfied. I still want to be somebody. So Mickie, you got me on this one.
Mr. Bryant McKinnie, your question, good sir, is what do you feel has been your greatest win so far in your life, professionally or personally? And when you're ready, good sir, the floor is yours.
I started playing football late. I grew up I wrestled and played basketball. And when I went into football, my grandmom actually says I'm not going to like it, and I quit and want to, stick to basketball. Times got tough in football because they got tough. I could have said, you know what, you're right, and quit. But I used that voice in the back of my head. It's like, no, keep going because I don't want to make her right. You know what I mean? So she pretty much was my why and like my drive on why I played the sport and why I stuck at it. So when I got a scholarship to the University of Miami, I reminded her, I said, remember you said I wasn't going to like it. That went on to, when I became the Allen Trophy winner and won the national championship, my grandma was there, and I reminded her, remember you said I wasn't going to like it, Grandma. So she was my driving force in the fact that I didn't ever allow or agree with the message of, well, you're not going to like it, just go back to basketball. And I used that to propel me to go even further in my career. So don't put me in the box. I have a lot of gifts, and I'm just have to tap into them. So when I got the opportunity to get into music, I wanted to make sure I put my best foot forward.
You just brought something up that epitomizes the show. Like, I don't want to put people in boxes, which is why sometimes when the luminaries receive their questions, they're like, I can talk about this. I'm like, yes, please do, because you guys have so much insight in other areas. The great Bryse Wilson, the question I have for you, my friend, is what 3 words describe what you're most grateful for and why? And whenever you'd like to go, the floor is yours.
I would say the 3 words for me are family, loyalty, and support. I had my best season to date last season, and I credit that, a large part of that, to my wife and my son, and just being that outlet for me. Just all the sacrifices that my parents made growing up for me, for my brother, allowing us to compete and, do all the travel ball and the showcase stuff and just be able to live out our dreams. If I, ever need to talk about anything, I can always go to them, no matter who it is and or what it's about. I always have that support group.
Mickie James, the question I have for you is, looking back on your life, who or what makes you instantly light up?
I think for the longest time, I was very self-driven and motivated by the someone telling me it wasn't possible for me, I wasn't good enough, and I was going to prove them wrong and all of those things. I think the greatest gift that I didn't even plan or even see coming for me, that really humbled me, and it gave me new purpose, and it gave me a real sense of peace, was my son. From the moment he was born, to watch it like it's all brand new, it was give me that sense of innocence back that I didn't remember or couldn't even remember what that was like, of to see things for the first time actually is, and all these little moments that we take for granted sometimes because it's just a butterfly, or and then as he's grown up and getting bigger, but to be able to do something and to build a life and to be a person that he could be proud of.
And now I have a grandson for the first time, and he's a year and a half old. And my God, I'm sitting there and reliving Ariel and Bambi and the Lion King, and I'm watching that with
real
them.
Quick, Chuck. Well, what's the difference between being a dad and a grandfather? How would you compare them?
Well, you take your grandson when you want him, and you get rid of him 2 days later when you're tired of him. And so family really touched me on there. So sure. Mickie, you got me again. So I'm going to go ahead and vote for you. But I loved all 3 of you. I really did. I loved all 3 of you. I think it was the hardest job for me tonight. And I really appreciate all 3 of you tremendously.
3, 2, guys and gals. Doesn't happen often. Going into round number 2. With the most amount of votes tonight will be Mickie James. And at the buzzer, tied for second place, will be Bryse Wilson and Bryant McKinnie, who will both be moving on to the second round of the TCAN Celebrity Grand Tournament, guys and gals.
Well, let me tell you something, Avi. You have accomplished something that is absolutely amazing. It's amazing. There's no words to describe what you are doing. You are getting the best out of everybody, out of every discipline, every and you're putting it out there and sharing it with everybody that, you know what, your show should be in every school. They should listen because you bring good values. You bring the it's amazing what you're doing, Avi. And you know, everybody's telling you, but take it from me. What you are doing is educating. The world is a better place thanks to you.